We begin here at this hour. The most senior leadership of the ANC, the biggest and leading party in the government of national unity, is satisfied that Team South Africa has put together a compelling proposition to the United States of America. President Cyril Ramaphosa and the rest of the ANC's National Executive Committee are meeting in Ekurhuleni in Gauteng, a day after tariffs imposed by Trump's administration to South Africa and many other countries started to kick in. Newzroom Afrika's politics and economics editor Vuyo Mvoko is there. Lots coming out from there, Bravi, as far as, course, tariffs are concerned, but also some reforms that the ANC is contemplating around the cost of electricity.
Indeed, Thabo, the Minister of Electricity, who is also a member of the Economic Transformation Committee of the ANC, is the one who actually gave the briefing. A whole range of issues were discussed, as is typically the case, of course, in the meetings of the National Executive Committee of the ANC. But coming as this one did on the back of a very eventful week crowned by, among other stories, that story of the tariffs that kicked in yesterday. The statement itself, the National Executive Committee statement itself, made a sort of fleeting, almost passing reference to the issue. It was when we then got to engage with the presenter, Dr. Cyril Ramaphosa, that we then started digging and getting some of the answers. So the question I asked was whether there was a deep and wide conversation about the tariffs in particular, but more broadly or more generally about our trade and diplomatic relations with the United States of America. And here's how he responded to that particular question.
There was a focused discussion, and I must add that it was both spirited and robust discussions. So the following are some of the elements of that conversation or discussion. First is that the United States remain our second biggest trading partner, and that we must do everything possible to preserve, if you like, that status, because it's got huge economic implications to South Africa. The most direct is in relation to the number of jobs that potentially could be lost as a result of these tariffs if our products that are earmarked for the US are going to land uncompetitively, and they'll be displaced by products from other jurisdictions. So the point made there is that we must make everything possible within the bounds of rationality to ensure that we are able to preserve that relationship.
The question, of course, is where to from here? What's going to happen next? It's one thing to put on the table a proposal and hope for the best. What happens in the meantime? Because this has huge implications for jobs in our country. It's got huge implications for particular industry, agriculture and the automotive industry among them. Huge implications, needless to say, for the economy itself, which is struggling at the moment. Dr. Cyril Ramaphosa had this to say about that.
What this has done is to trigger a process of accelerating the diversification of South African goods, or rather markets for South African produced goods, so that we are able to de-risk, if you like, some degree of concentration in relation to one market. So we are doing simultaneously what both the Department of Agriculture, DTIC, and a number of departments are looking for additional markets to ensure that we de-risk ourselves from some degree of concentration.
To to get to that, of course, you're going to need time. You have to cultivate new relationships or expand on the ones you already have. So it's going to take a wee bit of time. So what about the one with the United States, which, as the president, the trade, industry and competition minister, and everyone who has had to have a say in this have actually said, the relationship with the United States remains, and if anything, has to be enhanced on top of what Dr. Kgosienzo just said about cultivating new ones or looking for new ones. The short answer from Dr. Ramaphosa was that everything has been done, everything has been given to the United States of America. All that South Africa is waiting for now are answers, yeas or nays, from the United States of America, and that's where things are. But from where they sit as the ANC, they are satisfied that Team South Africa has done everything possible, everything in their power to make sure that they push the South African agenda forward within, of course, the confines of what the United States may or may not agree to.